What's up, everybody? This is Rich from 56 Plus One.
And I'm Eric from 56 Plus One.
Today, we're going to be discussing the public benefits issue that we've all been dealing with and know so well. We're going to do a three-part mini series videos, and we're going to open up with the first video and discuss the constitutional, I guess, negligence on the state of Connecticut. So we're going to call it economical and discriminatory impacts. So, Eric, I'll let you take this away. I know you got a lot of familiarity with what we're going to talk about.
So that is correct. I do want to note that Rob isn't here today. He just had a job commitment. So, anyways, as Rich noted, we're going to break this apart in three different series. We're going to try to keep them short so we can keep the focus of each subject matter. But there's three primary subjects. This one, I'm just going to go over some economical and discriminatory impacts that this charge has. And before I do that, I'll give you some background. So I am what's called NAPCEP certified, which is an energy management long acronym, stands for Nationally Accredited Certified Board or Board of Certified Energy Practitioners. I have a lot of backbone in selling energy management services using Eversource's programs and installing solar arrays from design to development to procurement to building and installing them, as well as financing these systems. And I want to kind of share with the people what actually goes on behind the scenes here. And before I get into that, I want to, do want to get back to these economical and discriminatory impacts. This is a politically driven agenda, so much that people who don't agree, they are left with no voice at the bargaining table, put in between Pura, the state, and Eversource. So we're excluded from that. And Pura's purpose is to represent the people against the utility or any kind of utility abuse. At least that's how they started out. And today, as we see that, they're functioning as a more of a relationship with them, albeit we'll see some political theater going back and forth between Eversource and Pura in the news and in news articles, and rightfully so. It's because their relationship should have never been formed like that in the first place, but now they're starting to run into some problems. But now Pura is not representing the people. It's representing the agenda that's not only unconstitutional, but it's discriminatory in nature. And let me explain what I mean by that. So as a lot of these funds go to solar installation and paying for something called an LREC, a ZREC, and or net metering energy that's sent back to the grid, there clearly are people who, one, may not be able to afford solar. And I don't care if you hear this word, it's free. It's not free. What they're doing is they're using your property, your roof line, you're paying for the risk, you're assuming the insurance liability, and you're tied to somebody that's using your property for the next 25 years while they sell you back energy. Now, the short end of the stick might sound like this is a great opportunity for you. And in some instances, I'm not going to argue that it may not be. However, there's other instances much more and that have much greater impact than the short term, and those are the long-term impacts. So these people that can't get solar, they're essentially penalized by this combined public benefits charge. And I'll get through explaining what that, and I'll give you the example here. So, for instance, let's say that if you can't get solar, you're now stuck with this combined public benefits charge with no way to get out. And people that do have solar, they may have some portion of the combined public benefits charge put onto their bill, but they're not getting all of it at the same rate that everybody else is. And at the end of the day, that makes this unfair. But every solar array that's put on, connected to the grid, they're literally sending the power back to the grid. And I'm sure there's a lot of you that do have solar, you know this already. And they're sending it back to the grid through either an LREC, a ZREC, or net buyback program, whereas the energy from the solar array is bought back from Eversource at an extremely higher rate over conventional energy generation sources. And what I mean by that is, so let's just use a Millstone power plant as an example. Eversource puts out an agreement to buy back energy from Millstone at a rate of probably somewhere between 3 to 5 cents a mega. I mean, $3 to $5 a megawatt. A megawatt is 1,000 kilowatts, so that's 1,000,000 watts. But for purposes of keeping it simple and understanding everybody's electric bill, we see things related to us as kilowatts. So I'm gonna keep that language consistent for this purpose of this conversation and understanding. So Eversource is buying energy from both the conventional generation sources and the clean energy generation sources. But here's the difference. The conventional energy generation methods are purchased by Eversource at a rate of somewhere between 3 to 5 cents per kilowatt. Then they're sold to the ratepayer at 8 to 10 cents per kilowatt, depending on the what rate they can buy it at and energy prices fluctuating up and down. Now, here's the problem. The clean energy generation methods, they're purchased by Eversource at a rate of 20 to 30 cents a kilowatt and sometimes even more. Then they sell that to the ratepayer between 40 to 60 cents per kilowatt. Now, when you take and you look at the division of math there, that's a 5 to 10x increase. Now, you're not getting a full 5 to 10x increase in your electric bill because you don't have solar necessarily, because what they're doing is they're putting it into something called a tranche. So it's a mixed bag of energy sources that they sell you back, and Eversource and the state come to an agreement that say, okay, through something they call an RPS, a renewable portfolio standard, which the state now puts forth this agenda that says we have to have so much of our energy profile put out onto the grid to be clean energy. And they're mixing the clean energy in with the conventionally generated energy. But as I just covered, the clean energy is much more expensive. And so you don't see that actual true reflection yet. Their goal, obviously, is to keep increasing this. So now, at what point have we worked ourselves into a problem? And I say that point is now. So these tranches, all these rates get tranched together, and they're sold back to the people. Most people don't understand or know this. And like I alluded to at the beginning of this podcast, you got people that have bought solar and they believe in it because it looks like they're saving money, and they are for the short term. And so they have nothing but good things to say about it. What they don't understand is what's going on behind the scenes. While you, the person that just bought into a PPA for 15, 20, 25 years, the owner of that power purchase agreement and solar array, they're free and clear from your solar array within under 3 years because they've sucked all the benefit out of it. They've taken the tax credits, they've taken the MACCARS credits, they've taken any public benefit that's provided to you, they've taken that as well, meaning your ZRECs, your LRECs, and they've sucked all the profit out of it, and you're stuck paying these people with what's called an escalator, meaning an increased rate, let's just say every 3% every year for the next 20 years. Well, you can run that out. Those numbers are pretty high. And meanwhile, you've got to associate the insurance cost that you've assumed. Okay, so I think that pretty much covers what I wanted to talk about for the discriminatory and the cost economical impacts. And it's not just, we're always told, let's think about everybody. And that's what the point of this is. It's not just thinking about the guy with solar. And it's not a battle of people that have solar and people that don't have solar. It's a battle of what is right, is what we're talking about here. So I think I captured a lot of that information really quick. Did any of that seem confusing to you, Rich?
No, it seems pretty straightforward. At the end of the day, they're putting forward this plan, and it looks great on paper, and they talk to you about solar, and it's the best thing and everything else, and everybody is getting charged for it. And now they're selling it back at a profit, which is what companies do.
Right, got no problem with that.
Right. But, to throw this public benefits charge on it and saying that it's for the benefit of everybody, it's obviously not.
Clearly not.
And that's
the math
the issue.
shows that.
That's the issue
Right.
that we're trying to eliminate the public benefits charge, because if you have solar and you want to have it, that's great. People that can't or don't want it, they shouldn't be punished for it, and that punishment is in the form of the public benefit fees, and that's what we're talking about, and that's why we're trying to fight this.
And that's the next video. We're going to talk about the constitutional argument and how that discrimination really plays into the First Amendment violation, potentially a Fifth Amendment violation, as well as a 14th Amendment violation. And these, don't get me wrong, we're not making this up. There is precedent case law out there that supports this argument as late as 2018. But without further ado, I think we've covered this economical impact as much as we can, at least in an overview perspective. If there's questions on this, guys, we will entertain the questions. We'll get into the dirt here and how all of this works behind the scenes. Most common people don't understand how this works, and it's not I'm not saying it as an insult. I'm saying it as a way. I'll show you, and I'll show you the math behind the scene. But without further ado,
if there is questions, this video is going to be posted on the Facebook Ban Public Benefits page that we're all part of. Also, if you go to the website that Eric has created, it's the www.banpbc.com. There's a way to reach us via email through that website as well. If you guys have questions, we'll surely look at them and try to provide you some information. But we're going to put out another quick video after this, and we'll release them all today. But thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. My name is Rich, and I'm a +1.
And I'm Eric. I'm a +1.